This episode examines what the law requires, what the public record shows, and what happens when the process follows the rules, and when it doesn't. Because today we're looking at a claim that keeps resurfacing. Does a decade-old Illinois firearm possession arrest justify a $25,000 cash bond in a 2023 misdemeanor stalking case? This is Delta Deep Dive. Now let's dive a little deeper. Before we begin, let's be clear. This episode isn't about defending anyone. It isn't about minimizing past mistakes, and it isn't about relitigating something that happened more than 30 years ago. It's about process, about how bond is supposed to be set in Michigan, and about what information a magistrate is allowed to use when making that decision. Because bond isn't a punishment. It's a safeguard, a calculation, a legal formula with rules. Rules that exist to prevent arbitrary decisions. So today we're asking a simple question. Does the information in that old Chicago Tribune article meet the legal standards for a $25,000 cash bond? Let's start with the facts we do have. The article describes a domestic disturbance call in Illinois, police discovering firearms in a home, a man unable to produce a valid FOID card, an arrest for unlawful possession of firearms, no conviction listed, no violence described, no threats reported, no charges beyond the FOID violation, and the man in the article was 36 years old at the time. Given that Reed was 67 in 2023, this places the article around 1992. So we're talking about an arrest that happened over 30 years ago, in another state, under a different legal system, involving a regulatory firearms violation, not a violent offense. That's the factual baseline. Michigan's bond rule, MCR 6106, is very clear. Bond must be based on current risk of flight, current danger to the public, criminal history relevant to the present charge, ability to pay, likelihood of appearing in court, and the magistrate must state the reasons for a high bond on the record, not assume them, not imply them, not rely on information that isn't in the packet, not reach back 30 years into another state's regulatory system. If a prior is used to justify bond, it must be documented, presented, relevant, and explicitly cited. None of that happened here. Let's break it down. 1. It's not a conviction. Michigan courts treat arrests very differently from convictions. An arrest alone is not an aggravator. 2. It's not recent. 30 years is not a pattern. 30 years is not a current threat. 30 years is not a basis for a felony-level bond on a misdemeanor. 3. It's not similar to the 2023 charge. A FOID violation is a regulatory offense, not a violent one. It has no connection to misdemeanor stalking. 4. It wasn't in the police report. Michigan bond decisions must be based on the information before the court. 5. It wasn't in the warrant request. If it's not in the packet, it cannot be used. 6. It wasn't mentioned by the prosecutor. Prosecutors must raise aggravating factors if they want them considered. 7. It wasn't cited by the magistrate. And this is the most important part. If a magistrate does not state a factor on the record, it cannot legally justify the bond. Here's what we do know about the 2023 case. No threats were alleged. No weapons were involved. No violence was reported. No PPO existed. No recent criminal history was cited. No findings were made on the record. The charge was a single misdemeanor, and the bond was set at $25,000 cash. Then the jail, the people responsible for actually housing defendants, reviewed the situation and said, "This bond is too high. We can't safely house him under this amount." They lowered it. That is extremely rare, and it tells you everything you need to know. So let's answer the question plainly. Does a decades-old Illinois FOID card arrest justify a $25,000 cash bond in a 2023 Michigan misdemeanor stalking case? No. Not under Michigan law. Not under bond standards. Not under judicial conduct rules, and especially not when it was never documented, never presented, and never cited as part of the decision. Because bond isn't supposed to be a mystery. It's supposed to be a process, a transparent one. And when transparency disappears, fairness disappears with it. This has been episode 19 of Delta Deep Dive, and that was Debunking the Noise.